Chinese manufacturers have reportedly stepped into the spotlight, and it seems like luxury will never be the same. The Hermes empire is facing scrutiny once again, but this time it's not TikTok detectives or outraged influencers causing the stir. It's the very manufacturers allegedly responsible for making Hermes bags.
Starts with 30 distinct cuts of leather and can take 20 hours to complete, 4 hours for just the handle. Put the finishing touches on a Kelly, the most difficult bag to build. Artisans rely on their training and muscle memory to make every bag.
Emerging from the shadows, these manufacturers are revealing what they say is one of the biggest overpriced and overhyped illusions in fashion. According to them, the thousands you spend on a Birkin or Kelly aren't paying for craftsmanship or heritage. It's all about the brand. They claim they're the ones actually stitching the bags, not artisans in Parisian ateliers. And how did Hermes respond when these allegations came to light? They lawyered up.
Big price, $23,000, but Guangzhou price, $600.
Do you recognize this style, this bag? Of course you do. For the past more than 30 years, we have been the OEM factory for most of the luxury brands around the world. Gucci, Prada, Coach, Louis Vuitton.
Lawsuits were quickly filed, with accusations of defamation and intellectual property theft flying fast. But for many, the damage had already been done. The untouchable luxury image is starting to crack. The Made in France myth is disintegrating. Now, the burning question everyone's asking is simple.
Are pieces of artwork. These artisans train years and years to make one of these bags.
Fabrice is doing the last stitching on a Kelly bag. A Kelly takes around 13 hours to be made, depending on the materials that we make it. Our artisans, they need to do 4 years of training to be able to manufacture a Kelly bag.
Your Hermes says, made in China, does it feel cheaper? No, that's not a quality issue. It's luxury brand washing.
Hermes, you guys, it's time to show off your factories. No, I don't want to wait to go on YouTube and watch a beautiful documentary and show them off right here on TikTok. Let the world see. Okay, get like China. You gotta be ghetto about it. Just let people.
Have we been scammed all along? What began as hushed rumors and blurry videos has now evolved into full-blown exposés. Several Chinese manufacturers have released behind-the-scenes footage, reportedly showing the production of what they assert are authentic Hermes bags. Same leather, same hardware, same stitching. But here's the twist. They're not being crafted in Parisian ateliers. Instead, they're being churned out in sleek, high-tech Chinese factories. The claim isn't just that these factories can replicate Hermes bags. They're claiming they're producing the very bags that end up in high-end boutiques on Rodeo Drive and exclusive Parisian salons. Bags that customers wait years for, spending anywhere from $20,000 to $40,000 each. Raw, irrefutable, and downright humiliating. The factories didn't just leak information, they mocked the insane markup. A Birkin that cost you $30,000, it only cost them less than $600 to make. Let that sink in. But that wasn't even the most shocking revelation. Hermes didn't hesitate for a second. The moment those videos went viral, their legal team went into full attack mode. Lawsuits were filed, targeting several Chinese manufacturers for defamation and unauthorized reproduction of intellectual property. They didn't hold back, calling the accusations false, malicious, and damaging to their brand's integrity. In their official statements, Hermes doubled down, insisting that every product is handcrafted in France by elite artisans who undergo years of training. They reaffirmed that their supply chain was tightly controlled, with no unauthorized third parties involved. Any allegations to the contrary? Pure lies. But behind closed doors, insiders say it was pure chaos. Executives were scrambling to manage the fallout. Internal memos reportedly described a brand reputation emergency. One source even claimed that Hermes leaders were worried that, even if the lawsuits were successful, the damage to trust had already been done. Because, let's face it, once consumers witness something firsthand, no lawsuit can erase that image. Fans on social media weren't exactly backing Hermes. The platforms were flooded with side-by-side comparisons of genuine and fake bags that looked almost identical. Comment sections were bombarded with questions like, why should I spend $25,000 when the same bag can be made for just a few hundred? To make matters worse, some Hermes resellers reportedly started pulling their listings. The resale market began to drop, and collectors started doubting the authenticity of bags they had bought years ago, bags they had insured for tens of thousands of dollars. This wasn't just a legal battle. It was a full-on public trust crisis. While Hermès may be winning in court, they're losing in the court of public opinion. When a luxury brand has to shout, "We're authentic," it's already lost something far more valuable than any legal victory: its aura of mystery. And the consequences of that are just starting to unfold. Let's take a closer look at the numbers, because this is where the outrage truly kicks in. According to the manufacturers who claim to have worked on Hermès bags, the cost to produce a Birkin or Kelly is around $600. This covers top-quality leather, skilled labor, and hardware, just $600. Yet these bags are sold for anywhere between $15,000, $25,000, or even $38,000, depending on the model and rarity. Hermès wants us to believe this massive markup is all about exclusivity. They argue it's not just about the materials or the labor involved, but about the brand's heritage, craftsmanship, and legacy. But now those explanations are beginning to sound more like clever marketing spin. When you peel back the storytelling, the silk scarf branding, and the Paris showroom glamour, what do you have left? A product marked up nearly 65 times its production cost. That's not luxury. That's extortion with a designer label. People online aren't buying it anymore. TikTok is flooded with side-by-side comparisons between factory-made bags and the official ones. The differences are minimal, if they even exist. Reddit threads are full of former luxury buyers admitting they feel deceived, embarrassed, and even violated. Because this isn't just about fashion. It's about being told your identity, worth, and status are tied to a bag that, according to insiders, is no different from one made in a Shenzhen factory. The luxury market can keep claiming this is about craftsmanship, but the internet has the receipts, and people are furious. But the outrage wasn't just about the price tag. What followed was even worse. As soon as this story went public, resale markets took a nosedive. Buyers who once proudly showed off their Hermès collections began asking hard-hitting questions. How can I be sure this isn't one of the exposed bags? Why did I pay 6 figures for something that might have been mass-produced like a knockoff? Is any of this even valuable anymore? Suddenly, auction houses, consignment platforms, and luxury verifiers were flooded with concerns. Some started conducting internal audits, while others reportedly flagged listings for further checks. Even worse, top resellers had to quietly pull certain items off the market while they reassessed their authenticity protocols. In other words, they were in full panic mode. Collectors started pulling out, prices fell, and trust evaporated. On social media, it was a bloodbath. Former customers roasted Hermès and its defenders, calling them brainwashed, elitist followers, and complicit in a luxury Ponzi scheme. One viral comment hit the nail on the head. "I didn't buy a bag. I bought a delusion, and now I want my money back." This wasn't just a PR disaster, it was a full-on credibility collapse. The entire foundation of Hermès's image, the aura of exclusive, handmade, generational quality, crumbled in an instant. And here's the twist. Hermès isn't the only one in trouble. Not by a long shot. As soon as Hermès was exposed, the whole luxury world came under scrutiny. Once the allegations against Hermès broke, it set off a chain reaction in the fashion industry. Rumors started circulating about Prada, with posts claiming parts of their handbags were being stitched in the very same Chinese factories, then shipped to Europe just to have the final Made in Italy tag sewn on. That way, they could still legally label it as Italian-made. Louis Vuitton didn't escape the fallout either. Multiple exposés resurfaced, suggesting that some of their signature monogram pieces are actually assembled in places like Spain and the US, yet carry inflated European price tags simply due to the brand's name. Their silence was deafening, and that's never a good sign. Consumers began putting 2 and 2 together. If Hermès, a brand that claims ultimate exclusivity, could allegedly be linked to outsourced production, who else in the luxury world is cutting corners behind the scenes? And here's where it gets even messier. Some factory insiders are now revealing that they've worked across multiple luxury brands. Same materials, same assembly lines, just different logos. Let that sink in. What the public is beginning to realize is a blow to luxury. Labels. These brands aren't offering superior quality. They're selling a better story. The narrative, the fantasy of real luxury, is crumbling right before our eyes. The internet has a long memory, and now every high-end brand is under intense scrutiny. The fallout is only just beginning. The notion that products made in China are of lower quality is being challenged. Modern Chinese factories now produce goods that are on par with, or even surpass, European standards. This shift in perception is changing how consumers view quality. Hermès's revenue and brand image are under serious threat. The lawsuits and controversy that followed could have major financial consequences, not just for Hermès, but for the entire luxury sector. The illusion of exclusivity and craftsmanship that has defined luxury is being shattered. As consumers grow more aware, brands will need to evolve to preserve trust and authenticity. The real question now is, in an age where transparency is key, can luxury brands maintain their prestigious reputations?